it was very like nice to see. And then this is one of my best friends. Her name is Camila. She's been like one of my best friends since I was like 6, and then we did like ballet together. And then that was my second shoot ever. So like these are the only 2 shoots I did in Brazil before I moved to Australia. And again, like I'm gonna show my work, like how my work looks today. But like for the ones that never seen my work is very like colorful and like expressive. So it's so funny to see that in my second shoot ever, I was already like playing with edits and like cooking up the skin tones. You know, like there's no skin tones right
Right.
here,
Yeah.
but it's all fun, it's all play. And even by using like the wig, for example, like I already see that somehow like 7 years ago I already loved creating characters. But yeah, that's like a very like raw version of it.
That's so cool. Yeah. It's like
um
playing with the software and playing with all different types of colors and effects and layers. You can totally see it in here.
yeah, exactly. And then like later on I moved to Australia, and that was still in 2018, same year. And these are my friends from English school.
Cool.
So again, I was always kind of like asking people around me if they could like model for me. Like these are like not professional models. These are just like friends that I had at the time. But again, like the makeup of the girls that you see like in the left photo, I was the one that did the makeup. And then I did this like for maybe like 2 3 years when I first started, which is like really cute that you become like the stylist, you become the makeup artist, you kind of like do everything in the shoots.
Right. You have to, right? You have to do
Um,
everything when you're starting out. You can't like hire people. You have no money when you're starting out, especially as a student or
no,
something.
yeah, exactly. Like you have no money, but like I feel that in this industry, I'm in the fashion industry, well, a little bit in the fashion industry in parallel with other industries, but like um when you first start and then depending on the project, you always have to do things for free, you
Yeah.
know. And then we can talk a little bit more about it like later on in our conversation. But like there is a differentiation between personal work and paid work.
Mm,
So like even nowadays it's common to just get a team to do something creative,
mm.
because there are makeup artists out there, there are stylists out there that they want portfolio or they want content. So like you can all pair up all together and do a beautiful shoot. Like yesterday, for example, I did a test shoot and then everyone was there just to create something beautiful. So like at the time, for example, I didn't know that those people were out there. So I used the tools that I had, that was like the people that were around me, and then my makeup palette, you know. And um but yeah, it's interesting to see how people like are keen to collaborate, and that's something like really beautiful that I've learned with time.
Yeah. Totally.
um I'll keep going on my
Yeah, let's go through this journey.
timeline.
Okay, so you're in Brisbane at this point, and this is like English classmates, right? Like learning
Yes,
English. Like, yeah, okay, cool. All right.
like first year in Australia, I just arrived in Australia. I
Wow.
had like my camera, my first camera. I didn't really know how to use it, so I was just like testing.
Mm,
um and later on, like the following year, I studied at TAFE.
mhm.
I did film because that's what I was studying in Brazil before I moved to Australia. Um, so I started TAFE, and well, the 3 first photos are people that I've met at TAFE, and then these like the first photo, and then the second photo, or in the third photo, I shot in my house.
Mm.
And the second photo with the 3 girls, it was just like in a little in Mount Gravatt, Brisbane. um the fourth photo is like one of my best friends, that's still one of my best friends, is and then that was my first shoot ever in a studio. And it's again so cute
Cool.
to see like how much I've grown. um and then like again, it's a journey, you know, like. And all of these photos were like posted at the time, which I also feel that's something very like valuable,
Mm.
because I do feel that if I just kept these images in a hard drive just like for myself, like it would probably been harder to grow. And then it's just so nice to go back and I appreciate them, and then I
Mm.
still like them, you know, like it's really sweet because like I still like them.
Yeah, that's great. And do you think it's the process of just having to put your work out there, or is it the feedback that you feel like you get, or is it just for yourself to be like, okay, this is finished, this is the photo, I've kind of sent it to print, sort of thing? Like, why do you
Yeah,
think posting it is important? Because you kind of mentioned that, so I want to hear that.
Yeah, for me it's the end of the cycle, because I feel that like
Mm,
it's so hard to honestly find people that gives you a hard feedback, not a hard feedback, but like a feedback, you know.
yeah.
People usually are just like, yes, slate, great, killed it, which is like, it's nice and pushes you again, like that's also like very good, and that pushes you, gives you confidence, which is also like very important. But I think like for me, and then in general, I see posting as the last part of the process, you
Yeah.
know, like it's like the world will see it, like that's finished, I can move on from it.
Yeah.
um and then something that also like realized, and then I was having a conversation yesterday with like my DG and assistant, is that it's so important to share, because that's how people know that you do, that's what you do,
Mm,
you know. um like later, I don't know if I added here, but like these are people that I knew, but then because I was posting those photos on Instagram, I could like reach out to other people on Instagram and then just be like, hey, I would love to shoot you, like would you be keen? And then they will go back to my Instagram and see like my work and just be like,
yeah.
oh yeah, sure, you know, like
They kind of get your
this is not a
vibe.
weirdo.
They know what you're up to. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Very good.
Yeah.
Mm,
And then we go to 2020, and then that's when I would say like my exploration in studio like really started.
mm,
That was like, that was when like so much changed for me. Like, you know, the 2020 was such a hectic year in so many ways. But then I've met so many people that like their life kind of like changed in 2020. And then I feel that like I was one of those people where like I started having access to a studio. I volunteered in a photo studio in Brisbane that I ended up working for like later on. But
right.
then that was the first time that I could like have a playground and just like have access to a studio, test lights and just practice.
Wow.
And kind of like try to start finding my creative voice.
I'm glad someone had a good year 2020. That's good. It's good to hear. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Of course, like 2020 was really hard in so many ways. Oh my gosh,
Mm,
again, I'm from Brazil, like one of the countries that suffered the most with
that's
like
right.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in parallel, like I don't know if you had this experience of like talking to some creatives in my case, and then some people just had like a big life change that year.
Yes.
Somehow I really believe in energy as well. I'm
Mm.
that kind of girly. So like there was definitely like a bad aura, but also like something that happened to some people that was like a very changing year in so many ways.
Definitely. Yeah. I think a lot of creatives, like a lot of people, they sort of look back and say, yeah, everything changed in 2020 because for good or worse, like everything kind of had to because it was just it was so monumental, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
you're at home, you're thinking, you're like, what am I doing with my life?
yeah. Yeah. I think there was a lot of that, a lot of reflection. Okay, cool. Okay, great. So, yeah, 2021. All right.
Well, this is 2021. That's when I start making money with photography.
Mhm.
So I feel that like this year is when I started like building my confidence in like, oh, I can like really do this for a living. These are like creative shoots, but then again, here I can kind of like see that I was exploring like gel lights and motion blur, and then sticking things into the wall and like playing a little bit of set design. So that was like really exciting for me too.
That's really cool.
Moving on to 2022. 2022 was a very like special year for me creatively, I would say. I feel that like there's still like so many works from that year that I'm so proud of. Like was the year that I think I surrounded myself with people that like really pushed me, and then they were pushing themselves, and then because they were pushing themselves, I wanted to push me as well.
Mm,
So it's so important to have people like around you that inspires you, and then I can like see that um in my work that year, and not just because of myself but because of the people that like I was surrounded with, like no doubt. So like I really like played with contrast that year, and again just kind of like lots of motion blur, but like um exploring the technique a little bit more, because it's
mm,
so hard to actually like nail a shot when you're just like moving the camera around.
yeah.
I feel that like even nowadays sometimes I'm just kind of like well, let's move it here and like see how that's gonna go.
See what
But
happens. Yeah.
but understanding a little bit more of like studio lighting also like helped a lot.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time as well that I did like a mixed media shoot. Like the second image is a mix between photo and painting. So
Mm.
like I did that in collaboration with a friend that is a painter. So that was like really cool as well.
I'm going to pause right there because I think that segues into a great question that we have from Tim Northey. So TK in the chat, great to see you there. Getting love from the crew, which we'll talk about a little bit in a bit. But TK asks, love seeing where you started, Mac. What advice do you have for organizing models? So yeah, we're kind of talking about all that stuff. So it's great timing for that question. Seems
Yeah.
like getting started that friends were a good starting point. So yeah, do you have any tips for the fantastic photographer TK in chat?
Like definitely. So of course, when you first started, you ask your friends. Like later on, what I did, I just started reaching out to freelance models on Instagram. And after I built confidence, and then again, like confidence is such a thing that like you keep building through the years. But if I was going to give someone a tip, it would be just message modeling agencies. So usually when you go to modeling agencies, they have like new faces, which are people that are just starting to model. So usually they want those people, like those um, girls and guys, to um, test, go to test shoots, like
Right.
practice, like pose in front of different photographers, like everything in life. You just like learn when you practice, right? And then that's the same thing for models. So every modeling agency, they have this section called New Faces. You can just email them and just be like, hey, like I would love to test with one of your new faces,
Mm.
and then they probably will get back to you. But again, that's why it's also important to post on social media, because then when they like see your work, they will see what you do. It's not
Yeah.
gonna be like a random person like asking to like meet with one of the
Yeah.
models,
Yeah.
because they're also a business in the end of the day, and then they're also like are there to protect like those people, which that's what they should be doing, and that's
Mhm.
what they do. So then again, that's why it's important to in parallel like to reaching out to modeling agencies and messaging people on Instagram
Mm.
to post your work on social media.
That's cool. That's a great tip. And if there are any more questions, yeah, throw it just like TK, throw it in chat, and we'll check it out as we go through. That's great. Really quickly, I can see your style changing quite a bit from between 2021 and 2022, and like kind of getting into. I'm not a photographer, but kind of it's almost fashion and slash editorial. I'm taking a guess beforehand, and then
Yeah,
this seems
definitely.
like a big artistic pivot. Like not pivot. I use that word too much. Yeah, it seems like it's evolving into, or certainly
Yeah,
the work that you've picked here looks more that artistic photography side.
again and then again, like that's because of the people that I surrounded myself with.
Mm.
So like I was working in a photo studio, and then most of the people there were fashion photographers or wanting to be fashion photographers. So we were always around talking about fashion, showing each other like fashion editorials, and then I wanted to start like doing fashion editorials as well. So I just started practicing shooting them. So like yeah, like definitely I can see that shift. Even like here, I feel like I started, but here that's when I was kind of like that's really what I want to do.
Mm.
And then the whole like artistic approach is inspired by like photographers. They were introduced to me by these people that were around me, because again, everything is your references, right? If you don't have a reference, like you just don't have that in the back of your brain. And then your references could be a book that you read, a magazine that you flick through,
Mm.
or like your life experiences. And I feel that in 2022 was a moment where the people that surrounded me just fed me with so many amazing photographers, and some of them are still like some of my biggest influences.
Mm.
So like yeah, like research people, like talk to people around you. It's like it's so fun.
Yeah.
And then it really pushes you to experiment in your own practice.
Oh, cool. Awesome. I love it. All right.
This was 2023. Again, I feel that like still like following like 2022, but in my case, 2023 was like a hectic year personally, because that's when I moved to Sydney. So there were like so many changes, and then I was like still trying to adapt like creatively. I was trying to like meet creatives here. As I said, like you need to reach out to people, but like in Brisbane, I feel that like I already had a community. People already like knew my work. So here I was like slowly like entering like that industry as well. The first image was shot in Melbourne, like when I flew to Melbourne, which was really nice. And then the last image was shot in Brisbane, was like one of my last shots in Brisbane. But then the second shot is actually from a client that I shot in 2023, that like based in Sydney. She is a fashion designer, and at the time she was just graduating. And then the third image with like the girl with the hand was one of my first creative projects when I first arrived in Sydney. So yeah, it was a very like transitional
Yeah.
moment of my life.
Yeah. Amazing.
2024 last year, um like these are some of the projects again, me exploring well, that fake double exposure on Photoshop where I just like merged two images.
Yeah.
The first the first photo was from my first solo exhibition, which was like really fun. And then some of these other images were from for some like fashion editorials, and then personal projects.
That's cool. Yeah, that's the second one is the one that really jumped out to me from your work that I ended up using for the thumbnail artwork for this. Like there's something that, yeah, there's the colors and the movement are beautiful.
Yeah, like that one, it was like the fisherman's tale. So there were just like some water elements, and
Mm.
then this one supposed to be like the betta fish.
Okay, right.
So like that's kind of like the reference. That's what I was thinking when we shot it, and in the edits as well. I was like, this needs to be orange.
Uh,
So let's push to
cool.
that side.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, we've got a quick question. I'm just going to throw them in as we go along, if that's all right.
Hmm.
Hey, Brendan, thanks for the question. Hey, Mac, do you use any icebreakers or listen to music when you shoot with new models? I think I saw something on Instagram today of you dancing in the studio with your whole crew or something.
True.
But yeah, do you use any
Uh,
icebreakers or listen to music?
Not specific icebreakers. I usually put something like usually starts my shoots with like bossa nova. There's like a Brazilian kind of music that's very like chill, like a Brazilian jazz. Just for because everyone is usually like waking up, having a coffee, and then like halfway through, usually I just like play pop music.
Mm.
But I always ask people around like what they want to listen or like what the model want to listen. But that moment specifically from this store, there's in these stories, the hairdresser put like this very funny music from like the X Factor contestant in
Okay.
the UK, which is so funny. So William put that music, and then the model was also from the UK, so she had the reference, and then it just happens, like moments like this just
Mm.
happen. But like I to make people feel comfortable, I just think that like I always talk a lot with them, and then like I'm always kind of like, hey, like we're just here to have fun. I think I'm more of a conversational person than just bringing the vibes just through the music. What I really care
Mm.
about is not just everyone to be happy, but it's everyone to feel safe, and
Yeah.
then like know that like if I ask them to do something like weird, like if they don't feel comfortable, like that's okay as well.
Mm.
If they're clients, for example, when they're models, they're usually like keen to do like all the crazy things because they're like used to it as well. But then again, the most important thing for me on set is for them to feel comfortable.
Mm. That's great. Oh, cool. Thanks for the question, Brendan, as well. Okay, great. 2024. Oh, we're getting close.
Yeah, and then like 2025, this is one of the last ones. This is from my master's project.
Cool. Yeah.
And something that I've noticed that I've been trying to do since I moved to Sydney is to kind of like find the balance between commercial and art. And so like that's what this project was about.
Mm.
Trying to find like the mid ground for like fashion photography that I can still sell the clothes but still be artistic. Still
Yeah.
sell the makeup but it still be artistic. And then again, my influence has been changing throughout time. So yeah, that's just kind of like a little like change. I still like love so much of my old work. I'm still like so proud of my like new work. And then again,
Oh, did you
I'm
mute?
proud of.
Oh, that's okay. You're back. Just lost you for 1 second. But yeah, I mean, you should be proud of that work. And I know that I asked you to kind of dig up some of the older things as well. And you said that you were really enjoying going down memory lane with that, which is amazing. I studied graphic design, and everything for the first 10 years of my career has been deleted and scrubbed from the internet because it's so awful. So yeah, I love
Oh,
that. Um, That's fantastic. Well, there was a couple of other questions that I had that I thought maybe we could kind of talk about, like which is
Hmm.
also being noticed by brands. I think was something that we were chatting a little bit about because
Welcome back.
you're a Canon mentor. I think is the terminology. At Adobe, we have ambassadors. Canon has mentors, which I think is a really cool title. But yeah, like
Hmm.
do you get kind of noticed? I know TK in chat as well. Like TK is part of this kind of crew. How do you get noticed
Yeah,
by Canon? Like that's a pretty amazing brand to be noticed by. And then maybe you could talk a little
yeah,
bit also about the mentorship stuff.
absolutely. So one of the other mentors, like Steph,
Mm.
she was the one that like recommended me. So she put my name forward because she really wanted like another woman to be like part of this project. That's actually, so I'm a mentor for a project called The Circle that I run and like mentor, not run, but like I mentor with TK, Brandon, that also sent the other
Ah,
message,
cool.
Darcy, and Steph. And basically, the circle is about like bringing community together,
Mm.
right? Because in the end of the day, like that's what matters. Like we need to be like there for each other, and like help each other, educate each other. Because if you're just gatekeeping, like yeah, you're gonna be like on top by yourself, but that's like a bit boring, you know? Like you don't
Yeah.
want to like be there by yourself and then like seeing people around you like struggle. You want to grow with people, and that's why community is so important. So basically like this circle is a platform that now it's being run on Discord, that you can always like have access to like group chats. You can share your work, you can ask all the mentors questions. And then right now like this, like we are divided in three categories:
Mm.
fashion, music, and travel. These will probably expand in the future, but just to guide people. They're like want to start like doing this kind of work, and then we're almost like always there, like replying to people, keeping the conversation up. Like we're always available for a chat, and then we also post like some little articles where people can understand a little bit of our journey, and then even things such as like TK's question, like about reaching out to model, for example. I have
Yeah.
like a little article there that I shared a little bit of like all of those like tips that you can find. But in parallel with that, we are also running um, in real life events, presential events,
Mm.
which is also so important because it's nice to have an online place to go, but it's also really important to be there and have like the human feel of like meeting everyone, meeting new people, and learning something new in real life.
Yeah.
So we're running like workshops in parallel with that.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know Dark Hours has shared the link in that. And also, if you're watching this on demand, there's a link down in the description to the circle. Yeah, like I've have a lot of experience long ago of like doing a lot of community engagement stuff, and particularly at the beginning of your career, it's invaluable, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I also find that situations like that, like digital is awesome. We do heaps of digital stuff too, and physical is just like so human, like just finally connecting and having a space to do that and a good excuse to kind of get together as well, I think is really, really cool. So people can go check that out. And I think I read on there that it
Exactly.
was open to any photographer as well. Like you don't have to have Canon stuff or anything like that. I noticed that they were
Hmm.
very clear with that, which is super cool because
Hmm.
it's nice to just be inclusive of everybody. I'm sure that you could turn up with no photography experience and just want to shoot on your phone and things like that and still get a lot
Hmm.
out of it, I'm sure. Um,
Exactly.
that's really cool. Did you know TK or Brendan or I know your friend got you into that. Did you know them beforehand or did you all kind of meet through this experience?
No, we met through, yeah, through the circle. I just knew Steph.
Yeah.
And then it's just being like so lovely because we like every time they were together, we just have this feeling that like we just like each other as people, you know? And even like for them to be here and like watching this, like that's so sweet. They're all like so supportive. And yeah, like we want to attend like each other's workshops, but then we're in different states and we're just like, oh
Yeah.
no, like I want to be there for you. And then we were all together at Frame Fest like a couple of weeks ago, and then we just had like the best time. And
Yeah.
then yeah, like I feel that like I can definitely call them like my friends, you know?
Yeah.
Like I message them just to be like, oh, like look at this funny thing, or like how like this happened, like what do you think, what do you think about that,
Mm.
you know, like how much do you think I should charge for that?
Yes.
So
That's a big one,
it's
isn't it? Yeah.
So it's things that like you'll do with a friend. So yeah, I think that like we're pretty bonded.
That's all. That's awesome. And there was a question in chat. I'm going to hold that question because it's fantastic. But just before we do, there's also a Canon and Adobe collaboration, which is kind of how we got in touch originally. That's happening right now, which is I don't know if you have that or I have that. I could bring that up. But basically, if you're looking to buy a camera at any time soon, you get Adobe Creative Cloud subscription for a year for free, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, I know. Snaps in the chat. But I think it's been running through July and also all the way, it runs until the 1st of October. I did my homework. I didn't even have to look at my notes. And yeah, so basically, and it's also open to people that already have an Adobe subscription. So if you're listening to this and you are looking to buy any photography gear, definitely check that out because a whole year of free Adobe subscription is nothing to sniff at. So definitely go check that out. But the question leads us into what we're going to talk about next, which is fantastic. So Dark Hours Co. has thrown an amazing question in chat. Would you ever reshoot your old work to see how your approach has changed? And I'll let you answer that question. And then I think it segues quite nicely into what we're doing next.
If I would reshoot a work, probably not.
Yeah.
Not reshoots, because I think that like the things happen when they're supposed to, and we need to move forward.
Right.
I really believe in moving forward. I don't think I would shoot the same concept. I actually have one concept that I would love to reshoot again, but like because I didn't shoot the first time. But like, yeah, I feel like the project, it's already in the past. There's so much more to explore.
Right.
And that can just be like a beautiful like thing. But something that we were talking like earlier, it's not like reshooting a project, but because I was going through my archives, there was like this one photo and I was just like, oh, like this photo is actually really nice. What if I re-edit it today?
Yeah.
And then I just did like a slight edit. Like, I don't know if it's like that different, but I just thought that this was fun, like to get the same photo and then just, do like a little different thing. I would love to show you guys.
Yeah, great.
I'm gonna share my Photoshop with you. So like this is what I did like years ago. So like that was like the final edits that I did.
Wow.
Like, love the lighting. I'm so proud of baby me.
Is this in a studio? This is in a studio. That's a psych. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a psych. It's actually quite a nice like lighting setup, and actually like advanced for someone that was just starting. Like I really like look back at myself and I'm like, yes, baby Mac. Awesome. But like this, for example, was just like a fabric that we had there. So we just I just put this fabric in the model, and then if you can see a little bit closer here, that's like a belt to hold the fabric. So that was the photo, and then I always been so proud of it. But then recently I was just like, what if re-edit? And I think like that's kind of what I would do nowadays.
Yeah.
That's what I did in Lightroom as well. So this was what I did years ago, and then I re-edited in Lightroom, and then I did this on Photoshop.
Awesome.
Would you like for me to go like step by step, or would you like another?
Yeah, I think so. So we've got like 12 minutes left. So what I want to do is also throw out to chat as well. If you have any questions, now's a good time to get them in, and then we'll kind of save them towards the end. And then I'm really interested in your editing process, and I understand that every photo is going to be different. Every editing process is going to be different. But yeah, if you could just kind of take us through like some of the things that you might do, maybe some of the adjustments and things that you might kind of want to do on this particular photo. Yeah.
Okay, so like this one, I'm gonna, and like guys, by the way, I learned Photoshop by myself. So if you see me doing something silly, it's because it's probably silly, and then there's probably a easier and better way of doing it.
Everybody says that comes on Adobe Live.
Yeah, but like, oh God, like this one was just like, I use lots of AI, and then like, I'm just gonna start from the beginning. I don't know if there was an easier way of making them like these layers not to be seen instead of one by one, but oh well.
Whatever way you do it is the right way. Particularly with Photoshop, there's so many different ways to do things that I really don't believe that there's a right or wrong way.
Yeah. Okay. Let me even figure out what I did here. Okay, so I first started by like generating the backdrop. Oh, here. So I basically just kind of like generated some parts of the backdrop. So here, oh, I don't know why we can't see, but there was a window there.
All right, you got rid of a window. Yeah.
Yeah, I did get rid of a window. I'm not really sure why it's not here, but there was a window here. And I extended the side of the image. So like, again, just using generative AI.
Hmm.
So like later on here on the left side, I did think that like this shadow just became like this highlight became a little bit like weird. So I just used generative fill again. And then I kept doing it until it looked a little bit more natural.
Mm.
Okay, and here I just added like a glow. So the way that I did this was kind of like I created a mask. I went to image and then I applied image. After I applied image, I added some Gaussian blur to it, and then I applied scream to it. And then like that's how it looked like.
Ah, cool.
Okay, here just like adjust the levels a little bit. But then here I did think that like the model's dress was like too bright. So what I did here was just like I just selected the model and then I just changed the curves a little bit. Just to kind of like not be super bright, and then just bring the highlights down a bit. And here I selected the backdrop because I just thought it was too bright, and then I did want to bring a little bit of the light back here. So I just made the whole background a little bit darker through like changing the curves as well.
Yeah.
And like brighten contrast.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, doesn't it? The brightness contrast.
Yeah, it
one.
does. And then here later on, I just adjust the levels a bit. But then when I did that, this area here became like really dark, and then this area down here became like really bright. So I just like masked, and then I just brought it back the color that was like before here, like the gray here and then here. So if you have a look here, you can see in the mask there is like this dark area.
Yeah.
So I just basically like brushed it back. Here I use like liquify just to change the shape of the dress a bit.
Oh, I love liquify. Awesome. Love to see liquify getting used.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and not in a weird way, right?
Yeah. That's a
'Cause, like,
perfect
people-
use case for it. That's great. I love it. That's so cool.
Because people can do something like weird with it, but like, yeah, I feel like that was like that becomes like more natural because this way it looks more of a dress instead
Yeah.
of just like a fabric.
Is liquify something that you use occasionally? Do you ever use it on hair?
Definitely. Oh
Yeah,
God,
I could
recently-
tell. I could tell from the artwork I saw before. I'm like, oh my God, you would totally, because I saw some of the bits of work that you had with this kind of big long hair. And now that I'm seeing you use a liquify tool, it's just all clicked how you probably would have got some of those effects. That's super cool.
No, like definitely. I even have like a example here with hair. That's like an image. And then here, let me just, if you guys can see the hair here. Can you see, just like pay attention on the hair?
Oh yeah.
Like I've adjusted to like when you shoot with wigs, it's very clear that it's a wig, and a way of adjusting it is just kind of like bringing it down because usually the model has like the hair underneath, so it creates like a bigger shape than it's supposed to.
Right. So it's like a hat, like a helmet sitting on top. Like there's always going to be. I've never thought of that before, but of course that makes sense unless they have a shaved head. it's going to add.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like in work such as like, let me quickly open my Instagram. In work such as like this one, like I definitely use like liquify over here.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
like the shape was definitely square. It's not that it wasn't square at all. It was definitely square, but I definitely adjust to be more squarish and make it more perfect.
Yeah. That's so
So
cool.
like this work as well. Like yeah, like there'll be like a little like hair flicking out or something. So like I really wanted the boxy look. So I just like liquefied it and made it. And again, like not necessarily I'll make it super perfect all the time. Even like here is not 100% perfect, but that's also like the beauty of it, like the
Yeah.
imperfection. But you also want to fix it up, like some little like details. Like here as well, I remember that like there were some parts here that were just like coming out, and I just made sure to make it like very boxy.
Yeah. And it keeps it natural. Like it's such an underrated tool. That's why I was so excited when I saw that you were using it and using it perfectly, like using it for exactly what it's for. Brennan in chat was just writing, did you use it for that particular campaign? He's obviously seen it before, just as
Yeah.
you showed it. So yeah, great timing, great minds. That's super cool. We've only got only have a couple of minutes left. I'm just going to throw a question in while we've got this up. Brennan asked a while ago, do you have any raws versus final comparisons of some of your recent shots? I don't know if you have anything like that, like super handy. That might be a bit hard to bring up the raws, but
Ooh, not super handy.
not super handy. Not in the time that we have left. Sorry, Brennan, we don't have that. But yes. So and then in your workflow, do you often like how many images from a like campaign would you shoot or aim to post? I know this is probably a difficult, like there's not a one, answer for this sort of thing, but what are you looking for in terms of like probably not one photo,
Deliverables.
right? Like are you looking for a series like when you're working, I don't know, creating your own content or working for a client? Like how many like really solid shots are you usually looking for?
Okay, it depends.
Yes.
Like client work and personal work like are so different because like
Right.
personal work you can just technically do like whatever, right? I usually just honestly decide like while I'm selecting. But like for client work, if I'm doing like a half day shoot, usually I deliver like from 12 to 16 images. And then if I'm doing like a full day, it's usually like 20 images. But like even that's a big number. And then even like recently I'm thinking about like dropping that a little bit because 20 images is just so much. But if
Yeah.
you're shooting like a fashion campaign, it will be around 20 images. Like that's what the client will be looking for.
Right. And do you often deliver like you're like these are the 20 do you shortlist and do quick edits or something like that and then they kind of say yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, or do you
So
deliver the
usually my
20 and you're like this is the 20?
process actually is like I just feel like I do so much. Oh God. So let's say I do a shoot, full day shoot. I shoot 1,000 photos. And yes, that's a
Wow.
lot. I do shoot a lot. It's normal, guys. I promise. I shoot like 1,000 photos. From these 1,000 photos, I call down to like 100 or like between 100 and 120. And then what I do with this 100 and 120 is like I edit them, like not deeply, but I do like a quick color grading, and I like put in a folder, and then the client selects from these 100, 120,
Right.
and then they tell me which ones they would like, and then that's basically it. And then
Yep.
they can get like extra photos if they would like, but that's like in the end of the day like up to them.
Yeah. And do you sometimes say, okay, yeah, these are the 120, but these three are incredible and I strongly suggest these three? Or are you just totally like, hey, you're the client, these are our best 100,
Okay,
you
I'm gonna tell
choose?
a secret. So my
Okay.
secret is if my client doesn't choose my favorite photo, and then like I usually just sit and wait.
Yeah.
But if they don't choose my favorite photo, I usually gift them. Because
Right.
I just think it's a nice thing to do, you know? It's just kind of like, okay, like um it's so hard to choose, and I super can relate to that. Sometimes I feel that it's hard to choose the 100 photos.
Mm.
So I can't imagine like how hard it is to choose even like less images. So if I personally have an image that like I want to post and I'm like I really love this, I just like add to the gallery and I'm like, hey, that's a gift photo. And that's again like as a business, because in the end of the day we are a business.
Mm.
I think that's that's a good thing to do for your clients.
That's a nice little secret right there, right at the end. Love that. Last question, and then I think we'll wrap up for this live stream. I'm having such a great time. I've got a million questions, but we'll leave with Brendan's here. They say, I use Pixet so that the client can pick their favorite, saves me time editing my favorites and then wanting another one instead. Is that a workflow you use?
Yeah, I do use Pixets. That's how my client selects the images. But
Right.
like, does he mean that like he edits on Pixets? What did he say again?
I'm not sure. So I use Pixet so that the client can pick their favorites. It saves me time editing
Yeah,
my favorites. Yep. Yep.
yeah, exactly. That's
Cool.
what I do as well.
I love
And it's just
this.
a nice gallery.
That's so cool. Well, hey, you know what? We are out of time. Believe it or not, it goes quick, doesn't it? Um,
Yeah, so quick.
it's been so wonderful getting to know you here, and thank you everybody for the questions. I love that your crew showed up for you as well. Like, shout out to TK and Brendan. I love that so much, and I hope everybody had such a great time that I did as well. So, where can people find out more about you if they want to follow your work? Instagram is probably the best place. We'll share that in chat.
Yes. Yes, please follow me on MACAMI at MACAMI underscore underscore. Or visit my website, macami.com.au.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back soon. I have to fix some stuff in the background. Something went funny with our next live stream. I'm going to fix that, but we will be back in approximately 14 minutes if I can work that fast with Jeremy Muir. So stick around if you can. We're going to do some branding stuff. Makami, it's been wonderful getting to know you. Thank you so much for joining us on Adobe Live.
Thanks, Blaine.
Okay, see you, everyone. Bye.